You've done the right thing. You've insulated your ceiling. You've insulated your underfloor. But you're still cold. Best you finish the job. And to match your walls.
The Wellington City Council, every day I'd look at the news and I'd just shake my head and go, what the hell is going on? It just went from madness to madness. And eventually, which we've always thought about Wellington, but the tsunami has now rolled up the right as well. And there has been, and in the midst of all this was an email, an extraordinary story of the Ray Chung email, which has eviscerated, I would suggest to you, certain political careers and ambitions and aspirations. But how it got to where it got is a story in itself and isn't being told just quietly. Well, Councillor Tony Randle can come and try and make sense of all this for us because, dear Lord, I can't. And Tony joins us now. Tony, welcome to the show, mate. Lovely to have you back in Central Otago, your hometown.
Yes, and like in terms of the Queenstown booming, I can tell my little bit of the story. When we were flying into Queenstown from Wellington, the pilot announced that there was we had to hold up, so because there was a flight coming in from Australia, they had priority, and so we circled over Cromwell, which is I think where you are. Well, you were,
Yep.
But you were away at the time. We circled over Cromwell for 5 minutes, so we could actually get a slot to land into this little airport that's Queenstown. I mean, it is a little airport, and the runway is a bit too short, really. But people fly in. And even the flight in to Queenstown is just stunning. You know, it's a beautiful place, and it's booming. And then, of course, it took us as long, just about as long to find your way out, and the queues of traffic just to get onto the main road was just horrendous. It took like 20 minutes to get onto the main road and get out of Queenstown, away from the airport. So it's too much of a good thing. We need to better share it around. You're right. We need to get people to go to other places, but when things are tough, people don't go on holiday, and I think that's the bottom line.
And there you are. You've hit on the truth. I think there. The domestic economy is still not strong, so therefore people are staying at home. The cost of food, the cost of housing, the cost of everything. You're absolutely right, Tony. So the first thing to go, is the holiday, and you're spot on. Listen, mate, while I was away, I couldn't believe it. I just sat back and went, this is effing madness. And it was the Ray Chung email. When I read more about it and went, well, how did all this start? It's an email from, 2 years ago that was sent to you and two other councillors. And I would have thought, and I presume it was sent privately, so from his private email to your private email.
That's correct.
Is that right? That's correct, yeah?
Yes, that's correct.
So it's private communication.
There's actually two emails. There's actually two emails.
Well, you tell me.
Yes, well, so look, first I heard of the story was when you, as probably you might have experienced, when you get a call from this reporter you've never heard of before, and he starts talking about an email, and you're thinking, what? I mean, I still can't remember receiving the email. I can remember the story, and I'm not going to repeat the story, but it's basically a story that's a claim that Ray's talked about Tory having a salacious night out, and
at a swingers party.
It was in an email.
Yes, I'll say it because I know you're too delicate, and too frankly good-natured. No. There's an email that Ray Chung put out that suggested that Tory whānau was involved in some swingers circle tryst, and that he'd heard this from his neighbour, and he shared that information with you and two others. Have I got the context right?
That's right, and then I got the questions about what did you do about it and this sort of stuff. There's a second email though, which comes from Ray about less than 24 hours later. That essentially says, please keep this to yourself, otherwise it could be a code of conduct thing. Ray knew he was in the wrong within 24 hours about doing this. And look, and I don't think what Ray did was right, and I still say that he should apologise, properly. He has apologised directly to Tory by email, and she said that she's confirmed that. But it was a big mistake to do this, and totally unnecessary, of course. I mean, so many of these political stories are totally unnecessary. But he made a big mistake, and then afterwards he said, "Actually, I've got that wrong. Keep this to yourself." And I guess looking back at that, that's where I thought it was left. And then it comes back up again, and Tory released it to the media, saying
Okay,
this
so
is the sort of stuff.
explain it to me. So it goes to you. So he sends it to you because he realizes that you're a fellow traveller, if you like, politically to himself, or have
Yeah,
similar views. He sends it to two other, I think, women, or a man and a woman. Who were they?
that's so the man is John Panovich. He's my fellow Northern Ward councillor, and then there's Nicola Young, who's a councillor from Lambton Ward,
Okay.
and both of us are independent. We're not party aligned.
Yeah.
But this was very early days. This is a couple of months after we'd got to meet each other as councillors, and been through our first round of inductions and things like that. So it was very early in the piece, and people were still building relationships.
No, no,
Um,
okay, I
and
understood. Yeah, okay. And I understand why you didn't do anything about it. And he goes, "Oh God, I've made a bit of a boo boo." And you go, "Yeah, okay, that's fine." Um, how the hell? Now, none of you three are great fans of Tory whānau, but just the nature of human existence, you'd just say, "Well, I'll put that away and forget about it," and you did forget about it. How does that then get from one of you three to eventually find its way to the office of the Wellington Mayor?
so I can only go by the statements that Tories made in various forums. Um, she, on a recent forum, she said she received the email a couple of months before it was released. So that what there'd be, say, 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago, she received this email, and sort of consulted with a person she says is a very experienced political operator, and then
Probably Linda
partly on his
Clark.
advice, she released it. She released it to the New Zealand Herald as an exclusive,
Mm.
and yeah, so it's look, it's politics. I'm looking at this, and this is
Yeah,
politics,
but no,
Wellington
I
style.
understand. Yes, I understand it's politics, Tony. I want to go back to though. How
Yeah,
does she
sure.
get it?
I don't know. I know it wasn't me, but I don't know who else would have forwarded the email on. I I get the sense that no, I don't know.
Does the same question need to be asked of John Pelovich or Pavlovich and Nicola Young as well?
Yes, the question's been asked of Nicola, and she's denied it. And John Panovich is a no comment to the public so far,
Ah,
and he's. But I haven't talked to them directly. Nicola's actually at this when this was happening. She was getting on a plane, literally getting on a plane to fly to the UK, and she's been in the UK visiting her family. And John is, I'm not sure what John's doing, but I haven't seen him. I saw him once, and but yeah, that's where it's at. So no one knows. I mean, I don't know what the story is. I don't know who leaked the email, I'm afraid, other than it wasn't me. And I'm just trying to unpack what this all means, I guess, for the overall campaign for Wellington.
yes. Well, everybody's climbed in on this from the Prime Minister down, it has to be said. David
Mm.
Seymour, the ACT Party leader, has condemned both email and intent as well. And then obviously your two very high profile National Party MPs, Christopher Bishop and Nicola Willis, Willis have as well. There's and really is it the Independent Together team have fallen apart. I mean, boy oh boy, they're all independents now. There's the Together part of that equation as well and truly gone. Um, does it annoy, frustrate, upset, or is it just sort of normal for Wellington that the centre right falls apart when it needs to get together and regain, if you like, the seats of the Wellington City?
Well, it's. I think you. I mean, I think there's a grain of truth there that the people who stepped forward and have supported Ray. I think some of Ray's advice has been wrong.
Okay. I have to say Tory Whanau, despite being at the centre of the rumour, doesn't come out so well herself, because she's had it for months, she says. I mean, the first thing I imagine once she got that would have thinking to herself, oh, great, have I got this person for defamation? And a defamation lawyer would have probably said no. In addition, a defamation lawyer might have pointed out that aspects of her private life would become part of the defamation trial, and that may turn out not so wonderful as well, so that's the reason she pulled back from taking defamation action. But instead she goes, as you say, and leaks it to the Auckland-based New Zealand Herald, and one of their ratbag journalists, David Fisher, I think his name is, who specialises in this sort of muckraking, and she leaks it to him. Now, why wouldn't she have given it to your local, Post or Stuff or Spin-Off or your Wellington-based media? Why do you think it went to an Auckland media as an outlet?
I don't know. I really don't know. Part of the issue I have, of course, is that what I do know is also gossip. You see what I mean? I mean, I've had different people tell me different things about who did she consult. There's a question, and this is the way I think reporters put these sort of things. There's a question as to whether she consulted Andrew Little's campaign before before it came out.
Listen, the timing's obvious. I mean, it's designed to deal to the opposition. I accept that, but listen, it's the old story, and I've done it myself. If you're going to hand your opponent a loaded gun, don't be surprised if they shoot it. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, you can't blame them for shooting the gun if you've locked and loaded it and given it to them, for Pete's sake.
You've done the right thing. You've insulated your ceiling. You've insulated your underfloor, but you're still cold. Best you finish the job and to match your walls.